Hello, cats and kittens. I'm Lex, and I am your crochet fiberist. Please prepare to fiber. It is the 3rd of November, 2015. Hi there. I hope you guys are having a fantastic, fantastic day. Please ignore that. Sorry, that was just my iPad. I just want to extend a hearty hello and welcome my subscribers. We're up to 13, and I do believe I promised something if we got to 10 subscribers, but I'm going to talk about that a little bit later. Also, Shireen, my first subscriber, I already sent your package. You should be getting it in the next couple days. Please let me know if you didn't, because wow, I could say something really, sometimes going to the post office is not my most fun, enjoyable part of the day, is all I'm going to say there. I think that's probably the best way to leave that. Anyways, I just wanted to get back with you guys. I was supposed to do an episode of the Rediscovered Stitches. I've decided, I did an episode and I went through it and it didn't look right. I couldn't figure out why it wasn't working the way I wanted it to. So I think what I'm going to do is do a Rediscovered Stitches this Saturday, and it will be the Cowl project. And I'm seriously considering moving my crochet tech or Rediscovered Stitches class to every other week, because doing two podcasts, even though the Rediscovered Stitches class is a little less intensive, in some ways it's more intensive. So I think that's what I'm going to do. So stay tuned for that. Let's see, is there any other news going on? There's a shop called Yarn Less Unraveled in my yarning vicinity that is having their anniversary. So I'm going to try to go down to that, or go up to that. And Verb for Keeping Warm, I'd said Christine of the proprietress and of Verb for Keeping Warm was having a book party, and I thought she was combining it with her anniversary party, and she's not. So I'm going to try to go to that as well. And third and most important, I have secured a position. So I'm not going to stop doing podcasts. I can squeeze it in anywhere. In fact, but I am taking steps to kind of streamline the process. For one thing, you'll notice that the background's a little bit different. I'm in my bedroom, actually, in the little crochet corner that I've eked out for myself. It's actually on my husband's side of the bed, so he's not super thrilled about this, but it's been here for like 3 or 4 years. And I just have my skein winder, my ball winder, my bobbin winder, one of my wheels is sitting right here, and the other accoutrement of my fibering life. So I think I will be podcasting here. It's easier to get good light. I'm hoping you notice the lighting's a little bit better. And it's just easier to set up because it's my bedroom. And you're not seeing the parts of my bedroom that are, how should I say this politely, askew. So I think this is how it's going to work. I still think I will be putting out episodes on Tuesday and Saturday. I just think that maybe I might be recording them on a different day. I'm not really sure. It doesn't matter. I start my new position, I think, in 2 weeks. So, yay. I can't tell you how thrilled I was about that. And yeah, a huge amount of stress has been relieved just by that. And it's funny because this happened a couple of days ago. If I had done a Saturday episode, I probably wouldn't have this news to give you guys, but yay. So let's move on. We've got some kitting it out. We've got my bucket list project. We've got wearable art. We've got, I'm trying to do this without looking at my notes, and it's just not going to work. So let me consult the notes. Yeah, So I've got Wearable Art, I've got Spinmeister, I've got a stitch along. I think that'll be a little bit of fun. And I've got Fiberworks and Read All About It today. So I think we should get started and I can go to my kids. It has been a very, very productive week. I think what I've found is that when I'm really, really stressed out, having something in my hands, having something physically to do that I enjoy doing. I have to preface that. I have to say that I enjoy doing because sometimes I end up doing things that I don't actually like to do, but I tend to be productive even in that. Like cleaning the house, I hate cleaning, but I found that when I'm really stressed out, I can clean a house easy as opposed to in my normal state. Anyway, kidding it out. Let me show you what I've been working with. Let's see. Ooh, okay. I've gotten a little bit done here, but not much. I'm obviously not following my rule, and I really need to start following my rule. This is my faux weight cardigan, and I think I showed it last week. I've probably put another maybe 4 or 5 inches or 4 or 5 rows. This is, wow, you can see a lot better now. This is on a 4.5, yeah, 4.25 hook. It is a G, or it's a G6. There are 2 different Gs I found. There's one G that's 4.0 and then there's one G that's 4.25. I don't know how that was reconciled in the fiber world, in the crochet world, but whatever. So I've got this. I'm hoping to get to the sleeves by our next episode, but this is actually the one project that didn't get as much work done on it as it should have. The yarn is Jade Sapphire Kata, and this is Yak Silk, and it is in my Cogknitive bag, Cogknitive 2014 bag. So yeah, so I'm estimating that I'm maybe 15% through the project. I'm going to take my time on this because I have a lot of other stuff on my plate right now. So there's that. In my ugly home, in my homely denim bag, and I'm still making them. It's just they're very unwieldy. When I have one finished, I'll show you guys. I just started this one, but I've been doing this type of project all week. The yarn is Madelinetosh 80-10-10. Her MCN, sorry. I almost thought it was MCS, but it's not. It's an MCN that I got when I did her sweater club in 2013. I got a sweater quantity of this yarn, and I went outside of my comfort zone, and I believe this is sea salt, but the colorway really doesn't work for me, so I've been breaking it up into different projects, and I think this is the last ball. I think it's 100 grams, 187 yards. So I think I've got about 100 grams, which is all I need for a hat. So I'm doing what I'm calling, honestly, crochet doesn't call this, when you start a project, crochet doesn't refer to its beginning as a cast on, but because I'm using something that kind of approximates a cast on, that's what I'm calling it. But I'm working on the hem. It's a folded hem hat, and I'll talk about that a little bit later today. But as you can see, maybe you can't see, there is a foundation chain and my stitches are on top of it. Maybe that'll show better. Yeah. Wow, that's so much better. I'm always doing episodes in the bedroom. Yeah, so I'm building a foundation chain and the first row of stitches, which is pretty standard for doing a foundation chain, but like I said, I'm adapting this to my Tunisian weave stitch situation. And I will probably be done with this by the end of the day. These are literally 4-hour hats. And in my, when I talk about wearable art, and you will see what the results of this will be. So yeah, it's in my ugly denim bag. No, it's homely denim bag, sorry. I need to respect the things I make, even if they're not aesthetically pleasing to everyone. So there's that. Is this the last big piece? Oh yeah, yeah. This is a project specific to a act that I'm going to be doing for the next 58 days. But here's what I have. I don't know if I ever showed you guys this yarn and this stuff. I think I might have showed you the first episode. But I am working on a Starbright shawl. And the Starbright shawl, last weekend, this is actually called the Starshine shawl. Last weekend I was wearing a shawlette that was my Starbright shawlette, and this is just a larger version of it and finer yarn. So this is how far I am now. When I started this week, I was right around there. I need to put a, what is it called, a project keeper, so I can show you the length. So I did like 5 or 6 rounds, or 5 or 6 rows, and it's a really, really simple star stitch. Mrs. Weaver's, I will put a link to that in the show notes. She does a really interesting Tunisian star stitch that I used in this project. So yeah, so I've got a while to go. I have a lot of yarn. The yarn is really lovely, and I don't know if I ever showed you guys. I think I might have bought this before I started doing podcasts. But anyway, this, and you can definitely see the colors here. This is Oberon, and it's from Violet Length, and I will, she has an Etsy shop. I will put her information in the show notes. And the yarn is called Oberon. It is 100% cashmere, and it is a lovely gradient. It goes from a deep purple into a royal blue. And I normally don't like purple, but I think I'm starting to like it. And as the really gradual color change starts happening, I think I'll love it even more. So I've got that, and I don't know if you remember the edging in the Starshine shawlette. Do I have it over here? I do. I'll show you. This is the edge, right? This dark, dark color is the edge. So, yeah, so that bit is the edge. So the edge for the project I'm working on is going to be done in peanuts and Cracker Jacks, dude. In even easier Annapurna, from A Verb for Keeping Warm, in the indigo blue sky, and of course dyed in indigo. So I'm really excited on this. I'll talk a little bit more about the circumstances in which I work on this project, because it is very circumstance specific. So there's that. And let's see, that's 3 projects so far. One last project. I've been working, I am writing a pattern. I'm actually writing several patterns, but I'll get into that a little bit later. And I made what I would call like prototypes and templates and of the project, just so I could a mock-up to see how it was going to look. But now I'm ready for the real thing, and for the real thing I broke out the real yarn. And here is one of the skeins of it. This, boys and girls, is Ton of Wool. About a year ago, Miss Gusset, she is on Etsy. She somehow got a ton, that's the name, and she got a hold of quite a bit of Cormo wool that was actually sourced from the family that created the Cormo wool sheep breed. And I believe Cormo is breeded with a Corriedale and Merino. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what I think it is. Anyway, so she somehow sourced this in Australia and had it all produced in Australia and put these giant 300-gram balls on sale. if you go to her website, Ton of Wool, which I will also link in the show notes, she still has some of the typical white color, but she had this, which is a yummy chocolate. I think she's calling it black, but it's like a deep chocolate brown. And I went and picked up this yarn, and it's 4-ply version, and it was like 1,055 yards. So it was a really, really good deal. And it's nice to have a giant skein that you don't have to keep attaching. And then I went back and I got the last two of the black skeins. And so these are 10-ply, and they are, let's see, how much? They are 508 yards. So I've got two of these. I had to go to my local yarn shop. I have, as you can see, a ball winder and a skein winder, and or yarn winder, I guess, whatever. Anyway, they were not. I think I can do it on those two tools, but I did not want to do it on those two tools. So I went to my local yarn shop and asked very nicely, and they wound up a ball for me. And it's been sitting for a really long time because I just couldn't find the right project for it, because after I use the skeins, I won't have any more, and she doesn't know if she's going to be able to ever get any more of the dark colored cormo. Now, she still has, excuse me, plenty of the white cormo, and she even has one that's a giant skein like that in eco dye, which I'm coveting so hard. I assure you, once I'm back to work, I will be adding that to my Christmas list. So, like I said, I'll show you. I will put a link in the show notes. Wow. Anyway, so I'm working. So back to where I was going. Started a cardigan. Started a sweatery, vesty cardigan thing. Have two prototypes. Wanted to do the final version, so I started working, and here is the this is as far as I got. I think this is maybe 10 rows. I'm working this up on a K hook, which is 6.5 millimeters. I went to an L, and I really didn't like the way the fabric looked. I think the pattern looks much better in K, and I think when I block it, it's going to be fine. It's going to be a really cozy, really easy to wear, easy to style kind of cardigan. So yeah, I'm intending to have this done by the end of the year. I'm really, really excited, and this yarn is just amazing. I don't know if you guys have ever worked with Cormo. I have like 4 or 5 different versions of Cormo, and I have a fleece in my crochet closet, which I will talk about one day. And it's wonderful. Every form of it I found has been amazing and wonderful. And yeah, every time I think about it, it makes me happy. So I think, and I might show you guys, I spun up a pound of Cormo, and I could show you how that worked out. But anyway, it's in this bag, Ton of Wool, excellent, excellent product. So those are my kits this week, and now we get to move to one of my favorite segments, and it is my bucket list project, and it is housed in, oddly enough, my Dooney Burke bags. Now, please don't think that anything other than the fact that it was the bag that was lying around the house when I started this project. And that's a story in and of itself. Anyway, I want to say about 3 years ago, 3 or 4 years ago, I wrote 2 or 3 patterns, and I really loved them. And they weren't popular or anything, but they were something I was really passionate about. And I just recently was going through my emails, and my friend Her name's Loretta, and she's a fiberist, and I see her every time I go to Tehachapi for the Cognitive Fiber Retreat or visit my parents. Um, she is another kindred spirit, and she walked up to me one day and said, "Sweetie, you have really great ideas. I think you need to figure out how to express your crochet ideas a little more clearly." So she took one of my projects and she edited the heck out of it, and she did a fantastic job. And I finally got around to updating that particular project and putting it back into my store. I will put a link in the show notes, but it's just something to look at. I love this project, and I have like a billion versions of it. So the project is called Bijou Deconstructed, and of course, you know, Bijou, French for jewel. And it was just a simple stitch pattern that I fell in love with, and it kind of had a life of its own. So I'm currently making another one. The versions I normally did were sport weight and chunky weight because they're great for really quick scarves and things. But here is what I have so far of my, this is like row 2 of the pattern. I don't even know if this is the right, I never know which way is the right way or the wrong way. It works, it's beautiful either side, which is kind of the point. And you can see there are these little jewels that are in different configurations, essentially. So I really like that. I'm working, it's nice to kind of go back to regular crochet because I really love regular crochet. Tunisian is my heart for a lot of different reasons. It's the first way I learned how to like interact with yarn. But regular crochet has been a really huge part of my life too. And I like not carrying a giant hook, and I like essentially closing my stitches as I go. I really love that part about crochet. So I'm using a Addi 5.0 that is in an eye. I love these hooks. I'm not one of those people who has an aversion to other hooks, but I found these when I first moved to the Bay Area, and I've just been picking up various sizes every time I get to one of my LYSs that sells it. And I like that they're really, really ergonomic and really, really comfortable to work with. So yeah, so I'm using a 5.0. This yarn is sock weight. It is in fact, I found this is Greenwood Fiberworks Yakity Yak, and it's a MYS merino yak silk, and it's 100 grams for 100 yards. Let's see. Greenwood Fiberworks was in my LYS's neck of the woods when she went to Lambtown, the place I went to early last month, I think. And she stopped at one of my LYS's, so I got to go to the trunk show and pick up this yarn. And the colorway is Blue Raspberry. Sorry. It's really quite lovely. And yeah, I just started the pattern. I work this repeat a set number of times, and then I do another thing, and it's lovely. I love this project so much, and it's kind of fun to share it with you guys. And I think when I finish this one, I might do a stitch along where we just maybe work through this project, and I can answer any questions, and we can just kind of do it together. There's a thought. I'm just putting it out there. So yeah, it's in my Dooney Burke bag. Yeah, don't draw any conclusions from that. It's just my mom sends me bags for, she's been buying me Dooney Burke bags since I got out of college. And it's actually been really, really nice because I don't normally buy things like that. And she got me a couple recently, and she of course brings the bags. She always buys them, and she always gets the bags, but I never know where they went. I don't know where my other Dooney Burke bags like this are. So yeah. All right, that was the bucket list project. Let us see what is next. Alrighty. Wearable art, woot! Okay, so let's start. This hat, and my hair, it's going to be bad hat hair day because, well, I'm wearing a hat. This is one of the hats I was telling you guys about when I was talking about my kits. This is Beale. Beale is, I haven't finished writing the pattern out, but I will. This is completely Tunisian crochet in the round, and it's a folded hem. I don't know if you can see that, but yeah, it's a folded hem. I was watching The Fat Squirrel Speaks. Amy Beth is the hostess for that, and she was wearing this fantastic hat, and it was folded brim, and I love that look. I'm finding that it's hard to find a good equivalent to ribbing in crochet, and at one point I was just going to start putting a knit rib in all my hats, but I decided the hem works better for me. I like the placement. I like the way it feels on my ears. It feels really nice. I also like this pattern. This is a horseshoe cable. I would tell you I finagled it myself. In the sense that it's Tunisian weave, I did finagle that, but the idea is clearly knitted. And Kim Guzman, who is like one of the fiber queens, she does a lot of Tunisian, and she actually teaches a class on Annie's. I'll link to that in the show notes. She does a class on Tunisian cables, and it's quite interesting. And you will learn some things that will make, if you've ever delved into Tunisian crochet cables, you'll find some tips and tricks that will really, really change the dimension and the beauty of your work. So yeah, this is a really simple hat, horseshoe cables, a little bit of mesh, just kind of a regular row, and I had a different way of closing it up at the end, and I'm still trying to work that out in my head and trying to figure out how to express it. So I think maybe either next month or maybe I'll just wait till January and put out a call when we have a yarn group, which a Ravelry group, which I want to do once I get to episode 10. Once we get there, I will put out a call if anybody is interested in testing this hat. I just really love it. This is one of the projects I worked on while I was watching podcasts, and it took about 4 hours, so it's pretty fantastic. The yarn is Lambrosia. It's Frog Tree Yarns, which I believe was bought out by a company, and I can't remember the company's name. But it's 100% llama. It's worsted sport weight, and it's really, really soft because it's de-haired llama, so it's really, really nice. So that's one project. I will show the other one later. Of course, I'm wearing Geometry Subverted. Love this piece. My favorite shawl to wear around the house and to wear in public. And yeah, so I've been wearing this. I've been wearing my my shrug. I think you guys have seen this before. I think I've worn it before. It's just a really simple shrug with these braids in the back. And this is done in Madelinetosh DK? Something like that. It's the singles version of the Madelinetosh DK, I think, is what it is. And it's in the ink colorway. I really love this piece, and it really keeps me warm. Of course, I was wearing the far, because I love wearing this hat so much. I was also wearing Ziggurat, which is another pattern that I have and that I've designed, and that's on my in my Ravelry shop. So there's that. And of course, I was wearing Format. The last episode, the episode I tried to film on Saturday, I was wearing this, and it's just great. And it's very tunic. It's tunic length, and I wear it over a long sleeve shirt and over leggings, and it's just gorgeous. So there's that. And what else was, oh, here's my second Beale hat, and here. You're not going to really get the oomph of it until I put it on. And I actually like this one a little bit better. I like this a lot better. There's less mesh on this one, and it's a chunkier, I think it's a chunkier yarn. This is Trinity worsted, Sweet Georgia fiber, Sweet Georgia yarns, yeah. In the charcoal colorway, this is the leftover of my professional hat yarn, and I just thought this yarn needed to be worked up. So there's my horseshoe cables, there's my length of Tunisian knit, and it all works up and it ends in a really interesting way that hopefully I'll be able to articulate when I put it out for sale. Anyway, I really love this hat. It's really squishy. It's still, I've got the folded brim or folded hem, and I really like that so much. It's so pleasing, and it turned out so good. So there's that. And finally, I was going back and forth whether to show you guys this, but I like it, and I'm not ashamed of it. It's just, it is something I'm working on. So this, I don't know how well you can see it. The ends aren't woven in or anything. This is my prototype for my Easily cardigan. Yes, it will have sleeves. It's just, I just wanted a mock-up. This is in Lion Brand Scarfy, and it's actually really lovely. The only thing I was not super thrilled about with this yarn is that I don't know if you can see it. The acrylic, there are shiny like threads, and I just, it kind of turns me off. I don't like shiny yarn. That's one of the reasons I don't use acrylic as much as I would under normal circumstances. I just don't like the shininess. It makes me think of sparkles, and yeah, I'm just weird about that. So yeah, so it's a very simple construction, and as you can see, I end it with horseshoe cables around the front of the piece. And I'm really excited, and it's a couple of different stitch patterns, and it's really easy, and I'm really enjoying this piece. So I've been wearing this, and I also have it in, that was Easily 2.0. This is Easily 1.0. And I learned a lot from this version. The final version, like I said, is in a ton of wool, and it's going to be a lot different because of the construction of the yarn, and also because it's not going to be variegated, which I think is not, you don't see the project at its best with variegation. But this is the alpaca marl I picked up at Dixon at Lambtown, and so I've been wearing this around the house too. I like it. It's just not quite refined. We're there. We're almost there. I'm very excited about that. And of course, I wore ribbon or corrugated ribbon. This is definitely going to be a gift to someone. I don't know who, but frankly, I like it, but I have one I like more, and this can go to someone. I haven't decided who yet. All right. I think that is everything that I've been wearing this week. Oh, and then my cowl. This is Tunisian. All of those things that I showed you were Tunisian. So yeah, this is just a really simple cowl. Love the way it works. The yarn is far, and this colorful multicolor yarn is Malabrigo Sock Sherry from her anniversary yarn that she did a couple years ago. And it's blues and purples, which I dig a lot. So there's that, and yeah, that's what I've been wearing this week. And of course, my ETSs, my socks, I've been wearing those. Let's see. Oh, one more thing. I've also been wearing, oh dear. I've also been wearing my Mini-Bijou. This is a very tiny version of what the Bijou looks like when it's done. Don't be horrified. This is my hand spun when I was first learning how to spin and how to ply. The yarn is, you're not seeing the color well, unfortunately, but it's absolutely stunning. The yarn is 50% silk, 50% camel, and the colors are, maybe that'll show you better. It's kind of like a marl of purples and greens and electric yellow, and the fiber itself came from Red Fish Dyeworks, which is awesome. That company does some of the best color ways. Like, they're all unnamed, but they have one of the best color senses I've ever seen from a company ever. And again, I think I had like less than 100 yards or something like that. So I use this kind of like a mini cowl, and I stitched on these little tags, and I just tie it like so. Sorry you guys are going to hear that, but yeah, and just wear that around my neck, and it's quite lovely. Like I said, I will show you, I think you'll get a better idea of how the Bijou Deconstructed is going to look when I finish my version of it, or my current version of it. But this is kind of like a trunked, this is just the version that I came up with just to keep my neck warm. And this was completed a couple years ago. So there's that. And all right, let's talk about my stitch along. I am doing a marathon along, and I came up with this idea because I don't watch a whole lot of TV, but I have some TV that brings back really good memories for me. And in fact, the title of this episode is a reference to a show that is very near and dear to my heart. And because this show is really dear to my heart, I considered making this my marathon. And that show was Dragonball Z. The problem with Dragon Ball Z is I got to episode 25 and I couldn't take it anymore. Dragon Ball Z is an anime, Japanese animation, and it's adventure and martial arts and things like that. It's quite a lot of fun. It was great as a teenager to watch it. The problem with it now, watching it now, I won't tell you how many years later, but a lot of years later, the problem was the pacing was horrific, and I just did not realize that when I was watching it as a teenager. Part of that might have something to do with the fact that I had very limited TV watching time. I used to only, when I was a kid, until I was about 18, I wasn't allowed to watch TV except on the weekends and Friday nights. And then, even then, there were a lot of rules around that. And it wasn't just you're vegging out all weekend. It wasn't like that. So that show, the reason that show spoke to me so much, though, at the time was my family is, I think I mentioned I'm a military brat, and we had moved for my high school career, and it was really kind of difficult to deal with people. The things I listened to, the music I listened to wasn't popular. Even now it's not very well known. The things I read weren't popular or well known. The things I like to talk about and think about were completely different from everybody else's. And watching Dragon Ball Z was the first time I had something that I could share with a group of people and feel that sense of belonging. I don't know if that makes any sense, but that I've always kept that in the back of my mind, even when my husband was telling me that DBZ, Dragon Ball Z, has horrible pacing and this and that, and there are a lot of legitimate criticisms, but sometimes when you're attached, and you're attached for reasons that don't make sense to other people, you press on even though everybody else is like, that's weird. So that was my original marathon show. I changed directions quite quickly and decided to do another show, another Japanese animation show that I enjoyed, and it was called Yu Yu Hakusho. It's Ghost Detectives. It's about a young man who dies in the first 5 minutes of the show, and everything kind of goes out the window after that. There are some comedic elements. There are there's martial arts. There's the adventure component. And it's about 112 episodes. So I can do 2 episodes a day, and I will get through it by December 31st. And I will be working on the Starshine when I watch it. And I think that will help me get through a project and get through a show I love. I urge you, if you have any inclination to do the same, pick projects and just work on them through whatever shows you're working through. I do that. I just thought that would be a fun thing to do and kind of go through and remember the happy times. For me, Yu Yu Hakusho represents that kind of defiant teenager, those defiant teenage years. It's, I would not say it's, okay, I'm probably going to tell myself out there. I would not let my teenage daughter watch it necessarily. I don't have children though, so maybe my opinion would change. He is I don't think anybody swears, but he is a very aggressive young man, and he has a very strong sense of himself, and I hate to sound all fuddy-duddy, and sometimes I do. My husband's like, you're just like your mom. Maybe, whatever. But he's definitely a little more, yeah, that. He's definitely a teenager in full bloom of his teenageness. A lot of the other characters are a lot of fun. Keiko, Kuwabara, Kurama, Hiei. And I'm watching this in English. It's dubbed. Normally, I prefer my Japanese animation subbed, and but this Yu Yu Hakusho, Dragonball Z, and we just talked about it. Gosh, there's one other show I like in English, and everything else I prefer in subtitles. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. If you guys are interested, post a comment and maybe we can all talk about what we're watching and while we're working on our projects. Like, that would be a lot of fun. So, moving on. Let's see. I gotta take one more look at my notes. Cats and kittens. Oh, I have Spinmeister. I need to get to that. What I wanted to do was show off my spindles for Spinmeister, but this episode is running a little longer than I anticipated, so I'll just quickly tell you what I was working on. On Grayson, I was working on my llama. You can see it there. It's coming along really well. It's pretty fine. If I just ply it with itself, it will probably be lace weight. 3-ply would probably be fingering weight because llama isn't going to plump up. It's just going to be, more thready. And so I anticipate finishing this bobbin by the end of the week. I don't know yet though, because I haven't been using Grayson a whole lot. Grayson isn't broken or anything. I just haven't gotten around to my spinning for some reason. Pennyworth hasn't been used very much either. I have some cashmere merino on him. And some, what was it? BFL silk on him, another bobbin. The 3 feet of sheep, and I think I'm going to apply those two together. I think I talked about it last week, but I'm definitely doing that. I think it'll look really, really spectacular, and I'll be more likely to use the yarn. So there's that. Let's see, read all about it. I don't know if I've ever talked about this book, but I was cleaning up and I found this book. this is Custom Crocheted Sweaters. It's published by Lark Crafts, which is an imprint of Sterling Publishing Company. It is written by Dora Ornstein, who is actually this week my favorite fiberist. She has a class on Etsy, on Craftsy, on designing crocheted Tunisian sweaters. Oh my gosh, it was such a good class. And she does regular crochet, and I think she does a little knitting too. But this book, I was so happy to see it. It came out, I think, about 2 years ago. Was it 2 years ago? Oh, wow. I'm old. It came out about 3 years ago. And one of the things I like so much is I have some of Dora Ornstein. I have her workshop, her Tunisian crochet workshop. And I think that's from Interweave. And she's wearing one of these sweaters. Like I think I've mentioned, I normally don't follow patterns, but if I were going to follow a pattern, I would definitely do this one. This is crosshatch stitch. I think in Rediscovered Stitches we might address this because I have an idea for incorporating that into a sweater. I would do this sweater by itself, but I have an idea for another sweater using that project. But the reason I mention her is this particular book is that Dora Ornstein is doing for crochet sweaters what what's her name? Amy Herzog kind of did for knitted sweaters, and just really provides a really good base and background on sweater making, the art of making sweaters. So she has a really good overview of sweater constructions. She talks about fibers and stuff, and things that a lot of times you find that crocheters don't think about, and measurements. Sorry, and how to measure your body, things like that. It's really important to consider. And she even talks about torso lengths, which I think is great. One of the things I'm not super keen on in this book is that, oh right, she even talks about fit, which is awesome. Ease and things like that. Shoulder width, and how to alter things. And reading schematics, which is always important. And as somebody who is considering garment design more seriously, it's really cool to read her perspective and how she looks at things. And she talks about all sorts of construction, which I really appreciate. Not everybody does that in crochet. And one of the things I'm not super keen on in this book, and I say this after saying I loved everything. Actually, let me talk about some more things I liked. I liked this floating tee. I like that she used, I don't know, I don't want to show you the secret sauce, but she used a cashmere silk blend. She used Superior. I like that she uses really interesting fibers, but you don't have to use what she's using. But I really appreciate that she's using what thinner yarns for her projects. And let's see, what's that? Oh, I love this. I love this a lot. And that is the shawled collar tunic. I think it's just great. It's really pretty. I like the color. I'm actually impressed with the yarn too. That's really, really pretty. And I think that might be the star stitch. No, it's not, sorry. So I really, really enjoyed that. Was there any other? And of course the project, the cover page project. I like that one a lot. And the other thing I really like, and I'm not really sure how to show this without showing the secret sauce, but I don't, let's see, is there some other way to show it? I'll show it this way. She goes through her stitch key, and she references stitch patterns like in that sense, and that helps a lot. That's how I read most of my crochet. That's how most of your crochet stitch pattern books that's how they present themselves. And it's just really, really good to see that and see that that's becoming more popular in crochet pattern working. The only thing I was kind of not keen on is that the sizing doesn't go as high as it could. I see a project that goes up to 52, which is okay. Let's see. Actually, that one's not so bad. I think one went up to 48, and I don't know what the standard measurement of people is. Actually, you know what? I take that back. I think over the long haul, she's got a pretty decent size. She has pretty decent sizes. And the patterns are situated in such a way that if you have to adjust for your best or adjust for different parts of your body, you can do that in a really useful way. I would buy this again, and I'm tempted to buy it for my Nook, or buy it from Amazon to have it on my iPad. But it's a really good book. There are, I think, how many projects in here? 10 sweater designs, and she takes you from, an easier sweater to a harder sweater, and it's kind of like a workshop as you work through the sweaters. You're learning a lot of different skills. You're seeing a lot of different stitch patterns. You're learning how to incorporate different bits of construction. So I really, really like this book, and I unreservedly believe that it's a good buy. So once again, that's Custom Crocheted Sweaters. All right, and I think I'm going to link to Dora Ornstein's Craftsy class and her Annie Crochet class. No, she doesn't do Annie Crochet. I'm sorry. And her Interweave store offerings. So that's all I have today. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful week, and I hope you have happy fibering days. Bye.